Welcome back to The Outright Effect, a podcast in which unique perspectives challenge us to be better versions of ourselves. I'm Shelly.
And I'm Tempsy.
So Tempsy and I thought that we'd start a new series, I guess we'll call it, of, I don't know, random things that we've experienced where we're just like, what is this really happening? So we're going to call this, Can You Believe This? And today we're going to be talking about awkward questions that people ask, whether that be questions we actually got asked or questions that we hear people ask others.
Exactly. And our thoughts on whether that should happen or not. And I think most of them they probably shouldn't happen.
Yeah, but it probably has happened to you out there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep. So it's funny because the first question on here is, why are you single? Have you ever been asked that before?
No, but I feel like it gets asked a lot. I mean, I hear about it.
Is it just as rude to not get asked that? Because maybe they're like, you don't deserve a boyfriend.
Whoa.
But I mean, if somebody asks me that, like, I'll be like, dang, that's kind of rude. Like, it's none of your business. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And I think in today's world, I don't think that people can expect someone to be in a relationship regardless of their age or like what point in their life they are. Like, you know, it's not like, well, you have a good job now, so shouldn't you be dating or something like that, you know, or like, well, you're like in your 30s, so shouldn't you, I don't know, be engaged and maybe getting married pretty soon? Because I think the times have just changed, right? Like a long, long time ago, people were getting married when they're like 16 or whatever it was, right? Nope. And nowadays, like, people take our times. We, like, make sure we're good with ourselves. And some people just want to be by themselves. Like, that's fine, too. Whatever.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So I don't think it, I don't think it should be monitored. I think everybody has their own path.
You.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think with all the online dating now and the online dating apps, like,
it can get kind of scary.
Yeah.
And overwhelming.
And confusing. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm really glad I didn't come up in the dating app, world, because I think that it would be tough for me. But kudos to those of you who are making it work, because I could see it being a little bit tough and a little scary in this day and age with everything that's been going on in the world. So, all right. Well, what about the next question? When are you going to have kids?
Oh, my God. I think we already know what I think about this question.
We definitely do. I think you also have to be careful, because what if somebody can't have kids? Mm-hmm. Like, is that a question you want to be asking and making somebody relive the thought that they may not be able to have kids, or they know for sure they can't?
Right. Like, it could be traumatic, right?
Absolutely.
Like,
and then they have to
trigger question.
Yeah. And if they haven't completely worked through that, then you're just bringing up all these feelings on the spot that are just completely unnecessary.
Right. Yeah. And I also think that, so for me personally, I don't get this question very much from family, but what I thought is so weird, I mean, like, people I don't really know ask me this question. Like, barely acquaintances ask me this. And maybe some coworkers and stuff too. And I'm going to say that friends I've known for a long time, they already know the answer to this, so I think they just don't bring it up. You know what I mean? Like, they're already going to be like, Shelly doesn't, know. Like, so why am I going to ask? I don't think that answer is going to change. But there are some people out there who don't know me, like barely know me, and like drill me on this. Like, they'll be like, oh, do you have kids? I'm like, no. They're like, oh, why? And I'm like, okay.
None of your business.
Right. And then they'll say stuff like, oh, but I think you'd be a good mom. I wasn't questioning my ability to be a mother. I think I do fine too. Yeah. If I needed to, right? But if
you're not saying I don't think I can do it.
Right.
I don't
it's a
think
choice.
That's in the it's not something that I really want to do.
Right. So I just think it's really interesting. And you know what, what I will say, for some people who acknowledge, like, it's not for everybody. I know some people who have been through that, maybe shouldn't have, or maybe is rethinking their choices or whatever. Then I'm kind of like, see, like, not everybody should, right? Like, point proven. So,
but you also mentioned that if, down the road, you're like, man, maybe I should have, you can always adopt.
Right. Like, that's always an option.
Always.
I feel like, whatever.
And you're just able to make a kid's life better, so I think that's a great option. I will say, though, to be devil's advocate, typically when this comes up from family, it's really the intent of, they just want to have grandchildren.
Right. They want to see you, maybe they want to see you have an experience they had with raising a child. Like they felt like fulfilled because of that or whatever. Or they're like, I want another niece or a nephew, or like, in addition to the family, wouldn't that be an exciting thing? So I can see where it's coming
or
from.
carry on the name.
Sure. Yeah.
That's a big one too, right? So it's not necessarily coming from a bad place, but I think where it does get frustrating is when it's repetitive.
Yeah.
So my husband and I got it a lot from the family, and it was like, okay, when it happens, guys, it'll happen. We're not ready yet. But as soon as I get pregnant and, 3 months have passed, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
It's just kind of hard because you don't want to disappoint them either. But at the same time, it's like, we got to do it when it's right for us. We can't do it when it's like somebody else pressuring us or other people around us are starting to have kids. It's like, no, we got to do it when it's right for us.
Oh yeah. And I don't think that people should be having kids because other people want them to either.
No.
Right? Like, yeah.
There will be some challenges, when other people around you are having kids, but if you can just understand that, like Shelly's super understanding of my schedule and some of your other friends who have kids, like you don't get, I don't feel like you get your feelings hurt if we can't go to things, but you always continue to, invite us. And for me, like that's invaluable in a friend because you know what it takes. You understand, like you may not know firsthand, but you get that people got to spend time with their family. Yeah. So the amount of free time that they have is limited. Right. So if one friend's able to go to this thing, they may not be able to go to the next 3 things, but there are other friends who might be able to go to those. So I appreciate that you keep asking because I will go to like 1 out of every 5, right? But, there's just times where I got to be with my family and it's important. So I appreciate that about you, Shelly.
Yay. Cool.
All right. What else? Oh, did you gain weight?
Oh my.
So I had a situation where a family member told me their weight and then asked me, oh, how much do you weigh? And I was like, huh? And then like their kid was like, Mom, you're not supposed to ask that. And, this person is not, originally from here. And, there may be some cultural differences between what's appropriate and not appropriate to ask somebody. Like, I feel like this culture would definitely be open to saying like, oh, how much do you make? Asking those kind of. Not bat an eye. Yeah, because it's like normal in their culture. So I get it. But I was like taken aback. I was like, that's none of your business, this person was really tall and like thin. And I'm like, man, it must be nice, but there are other, just like in our health and fitness episode, there are other physical and health things that people of that stature go through, it's not always rainbows and butterflies, always being skinny or always being overweight or whatever. But there's, you definitely I want to stay as healthy as possible, but you can only do so much.
Yeah. And I don't even know why somebody would ask that question anyway, because what if somebody was having like an issue? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's almost like the flip side where someone's like, you need to gain weight, right? Like, what if that person, I don't know, they could be sick.
Yeah.
They could be sick and like nauseous every time they like eat, right? Like they
could
be
going through
some kind of therapy, like, some kind of like chemo or whatever. I don't know,
Absolutely.
So, I mean, there are like a ton of like different things out there. Like, don't even ask this question. I mean, I could see if it's coming from a sincere place. Like, are you actually okay? Like, is your health all right? I want to make sure you're fine, right? But not like how much do you weigh?
On the flip side, I don't mind if you tell me, hey, did you lose weight? I'll be like, no, but thanks. I'll take it. But I think if you ask a guy that.
Oh, yeah. They're probably like, what? I need to like work out more or something like that, right?
And it's also almost like shameful. Like, oh, yeah. So it depends on who you're asking, I think, like guys want to keep the bulk on and want to stay strong. So most guys anyways that I've run into, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
I can go back and forth. There are some instances where somebody's like, oh, you have something on your face, and like it's a zit. So I would say like hesitate before you say something, because I'm probably already trying to cover that up.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? And then you just come out. But if it's really like a piece of paper, I always tell people, like, if I have something in my teeth or I have like a fuzz on my face, if you're a true friend, you're going to tell me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, don't just let me walk outside with that.
I think there was something recently where like a celebrity went on stage with like something in their teeth and nobody told them.
I would fire everybody on my staff.
I want to say it was like one of the Jonas Brothers or something.
Really?
Like I saw something online. I was like, wow.
Like, nobody, but like if you have yes people around you, I guess. I don't know, but wouldn't they care about your appearance?
Right. Like, I mean, you're paying
Your
their
appearance is
salary,
what's
like,
making
right?
you
Yeah,
money, right?
exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. That's so crazy. So,
And I never get offended though when somebody, if someone's like, Shelly, you have something in your teeth. I'm just like, oh, great. Like,
yeah,
thanks. Like,
definitely.
let me take care of that. Right.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, sometimes when people are like, oh, is something on your face? I'll be like, oh, it's a zit. Then I'm like, kind of like, oh my gosh. I guess that makeup didn't work as well as I
Oh
thought.
my gosh.
Shelly's rolling her eyes at me, but that's okay. Things you want people to tell you: have something in your teeth, you have something in your hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I think,
want to know.
Sometimes when you like go outside too, and then there's like those trees you walk under that have the little like
Yep.
things, and they just like grab onto you.
Mhm.
Like I've been like, you have like one of those things from the tree in like your hair,
Yeah.
like to somebody I know.
Yeah.
Because then I mean, can you imagine how embarrassing it is for that person once they find it on their own? Like, how long have I been walking around with this on me?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Does it look like bird poop?
right?
Like, really?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Also, if your tag is out, like, I like it when people tell me, oh, your tag's out.
Oh,
if
from
they
the back of your
see it.
shirt or something. Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
thanks. That's not super embarrassing, but at least it's like,
Right. They want you to look presentable.
exactly.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this next one's tough. This has happened before, not to me, but I've like friends have asked women, "Are you pregnant?"
Oh my God. Somebody asked me that.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Why?
So they had heard from somebody else, like, but I think it was like maybe they heard the name wrong. Like it was a name that sounds like Shelly,
Oh,
but it's not Shelly. So they looked at me like did like a double take and was like, "Wait, I thought you were pregnant." And I was like, "What?" Like, oh my God, my personal trainer would like kill me. You know what I mean?
not in a million years. That's so funny. Well, what other questions have you heard that you're just like, are you serious?
I don't know. I feel like these things just come up randomly, and sometimes it's not even a question. It's just like, something that pops up in conversation. You're just like, oh, not a good time, right? Like, why
Yeah.
are we talking about this right now?
Yeah.
Can I leave the room?
I think a while ago I was a lot younger, but I asked a couple, one person that was in a relationship. I asked him, "Oh, why aren't you guys married?" And he was like, "That's a really personal question." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, why did I say that?" Like, it just came out. And so, like, if somebody's been in a relationship for a long time, don't ask them why they're not married yet or whatever. Like, that's really personal.
Oh yeah, actually, I've heard somebody else ask another couple that question before.
Oh, really?
And then I helped back them out of it.
So kind. What a good friend.
I don't even know them, to be honest with you.
Oh,
I just
yeah?
met them that one time. Yeah.
Oh.
I forget. I think it was like something about promise rings or something like that. Like, what's the promise? Why are you guys giving each other promise rings? And I was like, people can give each other whatever they want, whenever they
Yeah,
want to. Why does it
absolutely.
matter? Yeah. And
Absolutely.
then they're probably like, oh, thank God. I don't even know who Shelly is, but she just saved me.
Another one I've heard is, what are you? Have you heard
What
that
are you?
before?
A person?
I've heard-
I know what it
somebody-
means. I know
Yeah,
what they're
but
asking.
you want to ask like where are you originally
from? Yeah.
What nationality are you is fine, but like, what are you?
I'm a human.
I'm a puppy dog. Like, what do you want me to
Yeah.
say? Like, so.
Oh my God, I'd like to see someone like really scientific answer that question. They're gonna be like, I'm a bunch of whatever molecules I can see. Like
Yeah.
that kind of answer.
Like the Big Bang Theory
Right,
answer.
right. I'm made from DNA and blah blah blah.
Or maybe you
like
hand over your 23andMe and be like, here,
Yeah.
you figure it out. I'm a mutt. That's funny because I am a mutt. I haven't done my 23andMe, but I know that there's a lot of good stuff in there. Whereas
mixture
yours
of
was
things.
like pretty straightforward, right?
It was, yeah.
But I think that's kind of it.
I think that's all that we have for today. But we'll definitely circle back if something else not insane,
But just
jarring happens.
some of these things just take us aback, and we're like, we got to talk about this. So, let us know if there are any like awkward questions that you know of that we didn't cover, because we'd definitely like to hear about them.
Yeah. Have you been asked something? Have you asked somebody something? And you're
Yeah,
like,
whether
why did I do that?
Yeah, whether it's embarrassing or misguided or inappropriate, like
And we're not trying to make fun. This is just a
lighthearted
ha-ha thing
yeah.
that we're looking back on and now we can laugh about. So
Yeah, exactly.
send us an email at theoutrighteffect@gmail.com and let us know what's happened out there.
Exactly.
And I mean, if there's other things that you're like, can you believe this? Like, why did this happen? Send that to us too, because maybe it's happened to us and we can talk about it on a future episode.
Yeah, because we're going to keep talking about, can you believe this? We're going to have those come up every once in a while, because every day you run into something where somebody does something real weird and you're like, what is happening? I cannot believe this. So we will talk about it.
All right. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Outright Effect. You can find us at theoutrighteffect.com. Follow us on our social media accounts on Instagram and Facebook at The Outright Effect, or email us at theoutrighteffect@gmail.com. See you guys next time.
Bye.